Last weekend, Italy played Georgia, and whenever that happens, the same question always gets asked, especially when Georgia are leading 17 points to 6 at half time. Should Georgia join the Six Nations? Georgia have dominated the Men's Rugby Europe Championship for nearly 2 decades, winning every title bar one since 2011 and finishing at least in the top 2 every year since 2006. Elsewhere, they defeated Wales in Cardiff in 2022, having defeated Italy earlier that same year. They picked up a third win over a Tier 1 nation against Japan earlier this year. These results have been the ones grabbing the headlines, but it's not just the senior team that has been knocking on the door of the more established rugby nations. Georgia have been a staple of the Men's Under-20s World Championships since 2016, where they have been more than competitive. In a pre-World Championships friendly, they defeated England, the current world champions, for a second time in as many years. This summer, they debuted in the Under-18 Six Nations Summer Festival, alongside Portugal as the tournament grew to 8 teams. Meanwhile, at club level, we have seen the rise of Black Lion, the European Super Cup franchise that has also dominated, winning every iteration of the tournament since its inception in 2021 and graduating to play in the Challenge Cup. Georgia doesn't just have successful teams, but also star players, none more so than Lyon's David Niniashvili. With an incredible running game and sensational aerial skills, the star fullback is rated by many as one of the very best in the world and is linked with a move to La Rochelle next season. There are plenty of Georgians already playing across the French top 14, and then there's winger Aka Tabudzadze, who has scored 40 tries in 45 test matches, including this World Rugby Try of the Year nomination against Australia this summer. Georgia have made no secret of their desire not only to join the Six Nations but also the URC, and they have no shortage of sympathy from the rugby community. In the past, people have argued that they should replace a struggling Italian team, but it is highly debatable if Georgia would perform better than the Italians, at least straight away, given that Georgia's current World Cup record reads just 5 wins in 24 games, and they are still yet to beat Scotland, France, Ireland or England at senior level, something the likes of Fiji, Samoa and Japan have all achieved more recently. One of the more popular suggestions is a promotion-relegation playoff between the top Rugby Europe team and the bottom Six Nations team, but this is a lot more complicated than people realise. You may have heard of Rugby Europe being described as the Six Nations B, but this isn't actually accurate at all. Rugby Europe and the Six Nations as a competition aren't actually linked in any way. And there isn't actually anything to say that the Six Nations has to be above Rugby Europe in terms of quality. What's more, Rugby Europe is already a multi-tiered competition with 47 member unions, so entering into a relationship with it is actually a seismic change to the whole of rugby union in the Northern Hemisphere. But this isn't the only issue. The Six Nations is a privately owned competition by the 6 participating unions and equity firm CVC. A lot of people say that World Rugby should step in and shake things up, but World Rugby actually has no say over the governance of the Six Nations or who competes in it. For any nation to join, they would either have to buy a share of the company, which would cost hundreds of millions, or present a business case to the 6 unions showing they cannot afford not to let them in. Sadly, this is a business decision, not a sporting one, and it would take a lot for the stakeholders of the Six Nations to go changing one of the most popular and profitable entities in the whole of rugby union. But Georgian rugby is nothing if not ambitious, and you can bet that they will continue to bang on that glass ceiling until eventually it shatters. I'm sure the comment section is already full of people giving their views on this one, whether they think Georgia should or shouldn't be included in the Six Nations. From my point of view, I've just tried to be as factual as possible. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do want to support the channel, you can get membership for just 99 pence a month. If you do that, you'll get exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. But in the meantime, we will see you next week. Bye.